You know, when you sent in this research paper on artificial general intelligence and its impact on the arts and humanities, I have to admit I was excited, but also a little intimidated. This thing is dense. But fear not, dear listener, because that's where we come in. We're diving deep into transformations, AGI for Arts and Humanities by Liu and their team, to unearth the most mind-blowing insights in those, wait, AI can do that? Moments. And for those of you who like to geek out over the technical details, don't worry, we've got you covered too.
It's fascinating because this paper goes way beyond the current buzz around AI like ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about artificial general intelligence here, meaning AI that can learn and solve problems across different domains, not just one specific task. And what's really exciting is how it's being used to analyze, not just generate, creative works across history, philosophy, even music.
So instead of just asking an AI to write me a poem in the style of Shakespeare, I could ask it to analyze every sonnet he ever wrote and tell me what they reveal about his worldview.
Exactly. Imagine feeding an AI every love poem from the 18th century in multiple languages, and then asking it, what were the core philosophical ideas driving this romantic movement? That's the kind of analysis we're talking about. And the paper is full of incredible examples of this in action.
Okay, you're going to have to give me one of these examples because my mind is already spinning with the possibilities.
Well, one that really blew me away was figure 3 in the paper. They actually used an AGI to analyze the lyrics of the UEFA Champions League anthem.
Wait, the football anthem. You're telling me there's some deep philosophical meaning hidden in that?
You'd be surprised. The anthem is in multiple languages, and the AI was able to analyze the lyrics and identify the core design philosophy behind them, unity and diversity.
Wow, that's incredible. So it's not just about understanding the literal meaning of the words, but also the deeper cultural values and ideas that they embody.
Absolutely. And that gets to the heart of what makes this research so fascinating. It's not just about AI mimicking human creativity. It's about using AI to help us understand the very nature of creativity itself.
It really makes you wonder, can AI actually be considered creative, or is it just really good at mimicking what it's been trained on?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And honestly, I don't think there's an easy answer. On the one hand, AI can process information and identify patterns in ways that humans simply can't. But on the other hand, there's something about human experience, about that spark of inspiration that seems difficult, at least for now, to replicate in a machine. Or is it?
Speaking of AI pushing boundaries, let's shift gears from text to visuals because this research you sent in, it really blew my mind with the possibilities in image generation. And not just creating like those cool AI portraits everyone's talking about, but like really using AI to design our world.
It's true. Image generation gets a lot of hype.
Yeah.
But this paper goes so much deeper than just, viral AI portraits.
Right.
It dives into how AGI is being used to generate not just images, but entire designs,
Okay.
optimizing for things like sustainability and functionality.
So before we get into the like, why should I care part, can you break down how this even works? How does AI go from ones and zeros to like designing a building?
Yeah, so they break down a couple of key technical advances. First, there are these things called GANs, generative adversarial networks.
Catchy.
Yeah, which are essentially two AIs in a constant feedback loop.
Okay.
So imagine one AI is trying to forge a painting,
Okay.
and another AI is acting as an art expert trying to spot the fake.
Uh-huh.
Through this, back and forth, they both become incredibly sophisticated.
So they're learning from each other, pushing each other to get better.
Exactly. Then there are diffusion models, which start with pure visual noise, like static on a TV screen,
Okay.
and slowly refine it into a coherent image based on the data it's trained on. It's like sculpting with algorithms.
Okay, that makes sense. But how does this translate into something practical like that urban design you mentioned?
Well, imagine using AI to design not just a building, but an entire urban ecosystem. The paper shows an example of this in Figure 7, AI generating ideas for environmentally friendly architecture that optimizes for walkability, natural light, even things like wind flow to reduce energy consumption.
Now that is cool, but I'm also someone who loves photography. Anything in this research for me?
Absolutely. They talk about Adobe Firefly, a new tool that uses AI to analyze your photos and, for example, instantly change the season. Summer scene to autumn leaves, just like that. Pretty handy for someone who might be, into photography, right?
Oh, okay, I see what you did there. Now, we can't talk about AI and art without addressing the elephant in the room. What about AI creating real fine art? Is that even possible?
That's where things get really interesting. The paper talks about how some artists are already using these diffusion models to create works that are challenging the very definition of art. They even showcase some examples, though whether or not you consider it art is completely up to you. It's sparking a huge debate.
It seems like this technology is forcing us to re-examine our own assumptions about creativity. If an AI can produce something that evokes an emotional response in us, does it matter that it wasn't created by a human hand?
That's the million-dollar question, and I don't think there's an easy answer.
Right.
But it's a question that artists, art lovers, and frankly, anyone who interacts with art in any form is going to have to grapple with in the coming years.
This has been amazing, but I'm also realizing as we've been discussing this, there's a flip side to all this.
Right.
This research isn't just a celebration of AGI, it dives into some potentially scary implications too.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. As with any transformative technology,
Yeah.
there are risks and challenges we need to be aware of, and the paper doesn't shy away from those.
So where do we even begin? What are some of the big concerns when we're talking about AGI and art specifically?
Well, one of the things they really highlight is this question of factuality.
Wait, you mean AI can lie? I thought it was all about crunching data objectively.
It seems counterintuitive,
Yeah.
but one of the things they highlight is the problem of these AI hallucinations. Yeah,
Hallucinations.
you see, AI, even AGI, it's still in its infancy.
Okay.
And sometimes it generates outputs that are factually incorrect or even completely made up.
And that's fine if you're just asking it to write you a funny poem, but what about when accuracy is paramount?
Exactly. Think about fields like law or history, where even a small inaccuracy can have significant consequences.
Right?
Imagine an AI lawyer citing non-existent precedents,
Oh, no.
or a historian rewriting historical events based on a glitch in the algorithm.
Okay. Yeah, I can see how that would be a major issue. And I have to admit, the idea of an AI lawyer arguing a case based on made-up laws is both hilarious and terrifying.
It really highlights the need for careful oversight and development, especially as these technologies become more integrated into our lives.
And speaking of scary implications, what about the potential for misuse? I mean, we've all heard about things like deepfakes, but is there more to it than that?
Absolutely. The paper delves into the public safety aspect of AGI, and deepfakes are really just the tip of the iceberg.
So what else is there? Give me the worst case scenario.
They actually mention a warning from the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, the NGA.
Okay, the NGA. Now that sounds serious. What are they worried about?
They're concerned about AI being used to create fake satellite images.
Whoa, fake satellite images. That's next level stuff. Why is that so significant?
Think about it. Satellite images are used for everything from monitoring environmental changes to, yes, even military intelligence.
Right.
If someone can create convincing fake images, it could have huge geopolitical implications.
It's almost like a new form of information warfare. You could start conflicts, manipulate public opinion, all with a few clicks.
Precisely. And that's why the paper stresses the need for ethical guidelines, for safeguards to be put in place right now as this technology is being developed. It's not just about preventing misuse, it's about ensuring responsible development from the ground up.
This has been an incredible deep dive. We've gone from analyzing poetry to talking about fake satellite images, and it feels like we've only scratched the
It's
surface.
true, this is just the beginning of the conversation. And that's really what I took away from the paper's conclusion. We're on the cusp of a new era in the arts and humanities, one where AI will play a significant role, and it's up to us to determine what that role will be.
Well, on that note, a big thank you to you for taking this journey with us today.
It's been my pleasure.
And to our listeners, thank we you for sending in this fascinating research. We hope this deep dive has given you plenty to think about. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one inspiring our next deep dive.